Welcome back to Panel Day Superheroes Ahoy. My name is Tushar. So, I picked up a lot of books in Comic Con, and I also was volunteering for a stall at Bullseye Press and Yali Dream Creations with Ravi Raji. And Comic Con is over now, and now I'm back to reading and catching up on books. So the two most anticipated books for me were Raj Rahman and Yagyaa. So I read both of them, and the next in line are these books, The Village and Codename Alpha. Codename Alpha is an older book, but Village is the hot new book, which is enough has been said about that. So what I'll do is I'll quickly get to review of Raj Rahman and then we'll talk about Yagya. So Raj Rahman is a book that is a fresh title from Bullseye. It's written in the Bullseye universe, but it's a completely fresh time and space setting. This is a cover that is again a homage cover, and there is I think three covers in all Raj Rahman, and all of them are great. I have this cover, and this is a reference to a Stephen King, I think, scary or creepy book that you can see here. It's a homage cover, and so Raj Rahman is written by Ashwin Kalmane, colors by Harendra Singh Saini, published by Bullseye Press, and then let's look at some other titles here. Artwork is by Deepjoy Subba. So I'll just tell you what were my expectations, and I'll try to keep it spoiler free. So my expectations from Raj Rahman was I would be getting a fresh set of characters and a kind of a retro feel uh, in the setting and in the form of storytelling, and also I would get something like a detective or whodunit, and that was the expectation. And mainly this is the synopsis. So rather than going through the exact details, so it's called Raj Rahman and the Ghost of Gharshanpur. So there is a ghost that is killing senior citizens or old people, and there is some connection between them. So enter the detective duo Raj Rahman. As you can see, the art is very cool here, and I'll just share a few pages. So Raj Rahman is not a completely new book. I think it's out there, been out there for a month, and I only got my hands on it now. And I'll also be getting, I think, the Hindi variant in a couple of weeks, in a week or two. So I'll read that. But yeah, so these are some of the pages in Raj Rahman. As you can see, the style is pretty eye-catching, and it just pops out. It's not, it's a little faded and a flat coloring kind of look, the layout, and the panels are very, very cool, right? Like it's a nine panel page, and everything is so symmetrical, and the as you can see, the lettering and the flow of the speech bubbles, everything is just so what's the word? Just so uniform and symmetric, and there's a certain I would say there's a certain marriage is the word. There's a certain harmony, yeah, harmony between the story itself and how the panels. So the panels being constant makes the visual aesthetic really cool, and when you read it, you're able to enjoy. And the art by Deepjoy Subba, I mean, it's really very good, because when you actually read, you go through a confrontation, or when you are having some moments of reveals and the close-ups of the faces, and then it's almost very cinematic. I think I've read some of the comic book scripts in the past, and some of the very good ones actually describe which character is looking which way, and right, what is the expression. So if these two are talking, then you can see that they are talking to each other, and you get that sense of watching something moving, even though it's a comic book page. So that's the joy I got out of this. I actually was not, I personally do not, I'm not a story guy much. When there's a who done it, I am, yeah, sometimes guessing who has done it, but also sometimes I look into some other aspects. So yeah, I'm quite different kind of reader of whodunits. But in terms of whodunit itself, I think it's not uh, completely like something that will take the carpet or below your feet or something. But uh, in terms of the story, in terms of a freshness of approach, in terms of introducing a new world, characters, Raj Rahman is very enjoyable. And yeah, it's a mill setting, so there is a certain historical aspect and there is a certain supernatural ghost aspect. Scary wise, I wouldn't say it scared the bejuices out of me, but yeah. So talking about Raj Rahman, so Bullseye books, the good thing is like you read them a couple of times, you revisit them, and I'll just talk about Yagyaa and Aadhira Mohi also. So Raj Rahman I've just read today. So today's impressions, I really am getting tempted to see the pages again and again. The visual aesthetic is so nice. The story itself, honestly, I'm not that much gripped by it, but the way all the departments work together in this comic book, they are really cool. Characters, I would like to see more of Raj and Rahman being defined in the later parts. Is the first part, so it just probably introduces them, introduces some of their quirks, some of their character traits. But yeah, I would like to see more of that. And I think they also, it's also acknowledged towards the end where they say that there's certain lessons or learnings in this first case, and that's really cool. And I think that's very human. Like it's not just there as two cocky kind of detectives, but this is actually a kind of a very realistic feel that they are going for here. So this is Raj Rahman. I think it's volume one because there's no numbering on it, but this is Raj Rahman, and I'm sure they'll be back. There's no post credits or anything in Raj Rahman, but yeah, that's about it. So let me quickly get to Yagyaa 4. So Yagyaa 4 is the new book now. Raj Rahman has been there for some time. So what I did was I revisited Yagya books, and yeah, it's really fascinating that some more aspects came to the fore. So I read from Yagya 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I've done a review in the past, but Yagya 1 has a lot of this character definition is there, like in terms of defining the Pragya Parashar character and how these imaginary superheroes talk to her, how her father was a comic book world legend, and there's a lot of references, right, in terms of our world of comic books as well. Then there's villains, and there's a cop, and then there is a she finds this kind of a ring, kind of a thing, relic, and then yeah, that's a journey to the demon goddess. So that was Yagya 1, and Yagya 2 delves more into the supernatural aspect, and they use often some devices, right? Like there's a parallel world of the comic book that Pragya is creating, and that really excites you. And then there is these zombies or vampires, and then there's some cop characters, and there's some out and out fun crime scenes, right? Like on aboard a ship or uh, those kind of things. Yagya is really enjoyable. I mean, I didn't take much to just read it cover to cover. So this was Yagya 2, and Yagya 3. I mean, these books just keep getting better. So Yagya 3 also talks about clubs and crimes, and there is also very well written. Like even in the minor characters, you would see a very nice. Worked out detail, like one character is in stress, so they address that. And uh, so there is some more characters introduced here, and so there is a clubbing kind of a backdrop, and then there is the actual mythology aspects that comes through. So initially it's like monsters you get introduced to, and you are left with some question, and there's a character introduced called Shunya in Yagya 3. There is lot of doom dhadam action, and Yagya 3 ends with the so sorry I'm spoiling it, but Yagya 3 okay, spoiler in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yagya 3 ends with the entry of Aadhira Mohi. I think whoever has yet read till Yagya 3, they will be knowing that. I will not spoil much in Yagya 4. So Yagya 4 is again very full on action, and again brilliantly drawn. Cool aspect is this. So this was a card that would have you would have seen with one of the earlier Yagyaa books. I'm not put it out here, but in this book, this space, the credits are in form of a comic book itself. This I don't think I haven't seen I've seen this kind of thing before. And there's also at the back cover there's a few references to Black Panther. So this is really cool and funny, and I think Sudeep Menon brings in that humor, and this team is having fun with this book. So Yagya 4 mainly is it's really satisfying. It actually defines a new character based on the Tamil Elam rebels, that kind of a backdrop, and there's a character of Velu defined here, and how then he attracts this uh, ornament or this mythical spell, and then that energy takes over him. And I'll not go much into detail, but we are at a point where Yagya is also fighting her kind of dual identities of going into this realm, and then those imaginary superheroes talk to her. And mainly this book is about the confrontation and how Yagya fights this boy who is overtaken by this evil energy, and that's all Yagya is about. I will not go into much detail. Pick your copy and read Yagya 4. It brings you much of the same fun that you have had with Yagya 1, 2, and 3. It's a really exciting book, and about the ending, all I can say is the story is going to continue. So there is a Yagya origin that is teased, and that is pretty much about it. I think, yeah. So in the end, you would get lot of nice reveals, and there is lot of connecting threads, and you would exactly feel like one of those Marvel post-credit sequences. So there's quite a few of them. The book is very satisfying in terms of the reading experience. So Yagya 1, 2, 3, and 4. That's about Bullseye's new book, and very quickly I'll talk about Aadhira Mohi as well, because there's a connection. I revisited Aadhira Mohi. I really the interesting thing was initially I didn't like part 2 much, but this time I really enjoyed, because some of the complaints of these comic books sometimes is around like things move too fast. So some story that might have taken 10 pages that is covered in 2 pages, and you kind of miss that meat, right? So in Adhira Mohi, especially 2 and 3, that problem is addressed. And Adhira Mohi, it's a very daring kind of storytelling, because they've practically taken off the main characters off the table, and there is a lot of stories fleshed out, and that story really comes from a great place of creativity and imagination. And Ashwin Kalmane, you can actually see the writer really enjoying, building those layers and those characters and that world. So it's a really dark world, but not in a very superhero or a gimmicky way. It's really very well worked out. You can actually see that the writer is drawing from some of his influences. There's a lot of the references to Karnataka, and some of the phrases I could I could relate to, and that kind of a setting really grounds it very well, these stories. And the third book also, though the cover is Homage of Reservoir Dogs. We were at the stall and people were asking where it's just another bank robbery. I said it's nothing like that, and it's really very different. And in fact, third part is something that I'll need to revisit. But yeah, so Adhira Mohi again. So Bullseye books, always something new when you revisit them. That is about my short take, a review of Raj Rahman and a review of Yagya. And coming up, we'll try to cover some of the Yali's books. Like, I'm yet to read them, so I'm really excited to read The Village and Codename Alpha. So that is about it. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching Panel Days.